Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast. We're coming to you live straight from the west side of San Antonio. Puro exit 7 in the house. And Mike is on vacation somewhere in Barbados. Hopefully the plane lands and he gets there safe and he has a great time. He's going to send us some pictures, he says. I told him just as long as they're not of his feet and the fungal nail, I'm good. I don't need to see that. But we're going to be joined today. Our guest right now for today's show is going to be the one and only Matt Lerma. Matt, what's up?
Not much, Joe. Just enjoying a beautiful Wednesday post NBA Cup morning, bro.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Full disclosure, we're going to talk about in today's show. We're going to talk about the Emirates NBA Cup. We're going to talk about some of the rule changes that are going to be coming to the NBA All-Star game. It's going to be for the best or going to be for the worst, trying to make things interesting, I guess. We're also going to talk a little bit about some news that broke in the NFL here, as it seems like a quarterback named Kirk Cousins is going to be benched in favor of a rookie quarterback moving forward. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about some Spurs news and notes here that our good friend Jeff Garcia just released this morning. And we're going to go ahead and preview the Spurs game because, I would love to say we're waking up and good morning to Spurs fans and Spurs fans only, like our good friend Fernandez always says to everybody on Spurs game day. But unfortunately, the Spurs aren't going to be back in action until tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and kind of preview that. And we're going to talk San Antonio Spurs basketball with Matt Lerma here. And, we'll kind of have him tell his side of things because I know that, um, Mike likes to go ahead and bring his Sochan hate into the fray here. So we're going to talk about what your predictions are for the Spurs and how you think they're playing with Jeremy Sochan in the mix here. But other than that, let's get right into it and talk about the NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup. So yesterday you had the Milwaukee Bucks going against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I gotta be honest with you, man. I was watching this game. It was on ABC. It was boring, dude. Boring as F, Matt. I wasn't excited about it. At the end of the day, the Bucks wind up besting the Thunder 97-81. It was just a boring game, dude. It was just another game. There's nothing exciting about it. I was like, it's all right. What did you think?
Kind of the same thing. I even tweeted this game is so boring, but it was just because they kept shooting threes and kept missing. At least the Bucks had a good sense to send Giannis to the hole a few times. And it wasn't just miss three after miss three after miss three. But you know what? The second half of the game, though, I have to say, got a little bit more interesting when it was just kind of nice to see a complete, total Thunder meltdown where they couldn't do anything and calls weren't going their way and they were starting to get mad and getting technical fouls because they were yelling at the refs. And that was kind of fun to watch, especially since I the ever since we lost against the Suns, ever since the Spurs lost against the Suns, all I could think about every time the Thunder advanced to the next level was, man, that should be the Spurs. So, it's just one of those things where, it was just it was hard to watch the Thunder go because we beat the Thunder in the tournament, right? So, if we would have beat the Suns, we would have advanced out of our group. So it's just one of those things to where it kind of sucked to see the Thunder advance, but then in the championship game to just watch them fall apart and not be able to do anything was kind of like the only saving grace of this game for me.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Matt. I'm gonna
If it
call
wasn't for that, if it wasn't for that though, it would have been a boring game.
I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna push back on you here, and I want your opinion here. Spurs
Yeah.
had an opportunity to be in the game, right? It could have been the Spurs and not OKC. But let's be honest, man. Do you think the Spurs would have had what it takes to compete with this Bucks team as far as the talent level? Be honest.
Well, with Wemby, all things are possible, right? I think it'd be a pretty hard time for the Spurs, especially with all the injuries that they're going through right now. but you never know until you get the players out there on the court. Like when we beat the Thunder, a very small minority of people, I think, thought that we were going to win that game. So, like,
You're not lying
you
there.
know,
Yeah, you're not lying there. A very small minority thought that the Spurs were going to win that game. I was thinking they're not going to win that game, but they surprised everybody and they beat a good Thunder team. Which goes to
yeah,
show you that this team can beat good teams in the West on any given night. The problem with the Spurs as of late, Matt, it's just seems like they can't put together a full 48 minutes, and getting off to these slow starts, especially in the first and second quarters, then trying to make a push in the third and fourth, you expunge a lot of energy. And that's not going to be conducive to you winning a lot of games moving forward if you can't come out and match the intensity of the opposing team. I think that's where the Spurs are getting themselves in trouble right now. And I think going up against veteran savvy teams such as the Bucks, they would have probably had some trouble there, even with Wemby. I would have still have enjoyed watching the Spurs go up against the Bucks. Would have given Spurs fans something to get excited about, and I would have enjoyed it. And would they have won? Who knows? But I think they would have given it a good run, you know. And if the shots were falling, it would have they could have made the game interesting. But I think at the end of the day, things happen for a reason, and unfortunately for the Spurs, they still show that they still have some growing to do, even though they are going in the right direction and getting better. They just need to be a little bit more consistent. I think that's the next thing they need to work on here. And it's an 82 game season. We're barely a quarter of the way, through the season itself. There's still a lot of room for
yeah,
growth there. And I think what we're going to really see, Matt, as the season unwinds here, is that during the months of February, the months of March, you're going to see some real growth out of this team. And I think they're going to start to tease the fans near the end of the season. And they're going to be like, look at this team, Mira. They're getting better. And then when it comes to next season, they're going to want them to come out of the gate like world beaters.
yeah.
That's just my
It'll be
opinion.
interesting.
Yeah.
No, it'll be fun to see because I just think that next season I think the roster's going to look so different. So I want that to happen where the players that aren't going to be here, you wish them the best of luck, and you want them to end the season on a high note so they can get jobs somewhere else. I mean, it just is what it is. But um, I'm excited for the rest of the season. I hope that we make it into the play-in, and hopefully we can get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Whether it's a first round exit or not, just get to the dance.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order, but I think the Spurs will be able to break on through. Again, it just comes down to consistency at the end of the day, and if they can go ahead and play a full 48 minutes out there, they give themselves a better chance of winning. Whether their shots are falling or not, they can find other ways to win, whether it be, playing better defense or getting to the line to get some free throws, kind of stop the game a little bit, give them a chance to go ahead and chip away at a lead or sustain one. They have to find ways to win other than just doing what they're doing now, which is a little bit of more of the inconsistent play. But I'm sure the coaching staff wants them to go out there and they try to get them ready every single game, but it's also up to the players to execute. And I know Mike likes to go ahead and blame some of the coaches from time to time, but it's not always their fault. They do want to get these players ready to play. It's up to the players to execute. That's been what I've been saying for most of the season. And I know Mike doesn't like it too much, but hey, it is what it is. So we're going to move on and we're going to talk a little bit about changes coming to the NBA All-Star game. It's to nobody's surprise here. The NBA ratings have been going down. They've already said that since the beginning of the season. They're starting to look even last season. Ratings were going down. They attribute it to different things. And one of the things that you can't look past is how the NBA has made it so difficult for fans to actually watch the game. No matter what changes they make and all that, if you make the games more easily accessible, I think the ratings would actually go up. One of the things is with the advent of the Stream East, and a lot of these illegal streaming sites, fans don't want to have to pay an arm and a leg to watch their favorite teams. They'll be like, you know what? F this. I'm just going to go to these illegal streaming sites and I'm going to watch the game for free. While it might not be in the 4K quality or whatnot, it's very watchable. And fans are going to start gravitating towards that. I think it's going to come to a point, Matt, where the NBA is going to have to go ahead and find a healthy median in between the two and try to make these games more accessible via streaming services or something. So these fans will go ahead and start watching the games when it matters, so they can go ahead and count these as ratings. Because right now, you're losing half of your audience right now, and you're losing them. It's not because of the game; just the game is boring and it's changed and it's become a 3-point shooting fest. It's also people are just illegally streaming the games. Man, that's what I'm thinking, man. What are you thinking?
No, I agree. Before I was lucky enough to be able to have my direct TV stream, that's exactly how I watched all the games. So, and if there's a game that I want to watch, like if I want to watch Thunder versus Rockets or something random, I can't just watch it. I have to either pay for NBA League Pass or I can, do it for free. So like, which one do you think I'm gonna do? What
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird thing because from what I understand, NBA's revenue is up. Like the viewership numbers are down, but their revenue is up from last year. So they have to know that there's a disconnect somewhere. So I'm just wondering what they're gonna do to try to get fans to watch it in a way where they can count the ratings. They're gonna have to do something like stream it on their website or something. I don't know, but they're gonna have to figure something out.
Yeah, somewhere they're going to have to figure things out. And I think what the league is doing right now is they're trying to go ahead and make things a little bit more exciting. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so y'all can see what some of these rule changes are for the upcoming NBA All Star game. So, this is something that NBA Communications released yesterday, so it's not something that I'm getting off of a shady site. The NBA and the NBPA announced today that a new format for the 2025 NBA All Star game and the San Francisco Bay Area is coming, and they're going to go ahead and kind of change things up a little bit. It's not going to be the format that fans are used to, where it's East versus West, and they've tried to go ahead and do the thing where they pick players and whatnot. Now it's going to kind of be almost like a mini tourney in a way, where they're going to have three teams going up against each other. That fourth team is going to be chosen in a different way, in a different manner from what I was reading, kind of, looking through the way that things are going to come out here. It says, for the first time, the NBA All Star game will feature a mini tournament with four teams and three games. It says two teams will meet in one semifinal, game one, and the remaining two teams will meet in the other semifinal, game two. The winning teams from game one and two will advance to face the other in the championship, game three. It says for each game, the winner will be the first team to reach 40 points. So I don't know, man. I just think again, it's kind of like a reach. They're trying to make this like an in-season tourney almost, for the NBA All-Star game. I mean, what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
this?
Well, they did this last year with the Rising Stars. Like the
Yeah,
Rising Stars game, it was like three teams or whatever, and then like the one who won got like a cash prize or whatever. I don't necessarily know if that's going to make it more exciting. I know the NBA. So that one of the rule changes the NBA is thinking about implementing is a target score, which is like what they're doing here, where the first team to score 40 points wins. And so like they're talking about having like a target score for G League games where like it'll be the first team to score 100 points that wins, or the first team that scores 97 points, which is like whatever the target score is for the night, like the first team that gets that wins the game. And so like I know that they're thinking about doing that, and I guess they want to see how we react to this. um, but I don't think that it's gonna drive up the ratings. I don't think that when you tell people, oh, it's going to be a 3-game tournament style uh, All Star weekend, people are like, oh, we got to tune in for that. Like, I don't think it's going to bring the ratings that they're hoping for, but it's just going to be another thing to be a gimmick. Casual fans will hate it. Basketball super fans will try to roll with it, I guess, but it's just gonna be one of those things. I don't think the players like it. Like Kevin Durant said, he hated it. Like he didn't say, "Oh, I don't know how it's gonna go." He said, "I hate this. Just bring back East versus West." That's what he said on like TV.
Yeah.
So
It says there's a bunch of different comments in Hanover Fist saying Adam Silver's doing too much. He wants to do a lot, but one of the things you need to wind up doing here is Adam Silver, you need to go ahead and do away with the dunk contest. To me, it's become very boring as of late. It's not fun, it's not exciting anymore. It's just one of these events people still watch because of nostalgia, I think. But at the end of the day, do you really care? Probably not. They need to do something to reformat that whole thing. And nowadays, if you're going to go ahead and do a dunk, we've seen that, done that before. They need to do something else. Have them jumping off trampolines or doing something. Maybe raise the court up a little bit, or have more than one court out there and have them at various heights. And if they can get a trick dunk off of the first one, it's worth so much. Second one's worth so much. Third one's worth so much. They got to do something, man. You got to have some type of effect, props, something out there to liven it up. Maybe even have two players from the same team go out there and represent, and have it almost like a team event. So something needs to change. This NBA All-Star weekend, I like watching the skills challenge. I like watching the three-point shootout. But then when it comes to that dunk contest, it leaves a lot to be desired. Rising Stars, that's always fun to watch too. But I mean, Celebrity Game, who watches that? Do you watch that? No?
no.
Why do they have it?
Well, I think the dunk contest could be fixed if stars were in it.
Yeah.
If it was John Morant versus SGA and Ant, then like hell yeah, that'd be fun to watch. But Mac McClung has won 2 years in a row, and he can't even get minutes on the court. You know what I mean? So it's just like, why do I care if Mac McClung does a crazy dunk if I can never see him do it in a game?
Yeah, and
Allow taunting, midtown offense, I like that.
yeah, taunting be fun. One thing that I think they could do too is just having to have like the NBA versus the G League. You know, if you want these players to come up and have to raise the stakes, get some of these G League players out there to do some dunks. You don't think they're thirsty? You don't think they're going to put on a performance and want to outdo their NBA brethren? I think that can make some really good competition come out of that. And I'd be down for something like that. If the NBA doesn't want to get involved in the dunk contest, have the G Leaguers do it. Instead, put somebody out there that wants to give it their all. Fans want to see the stars dunk. I get that, but they don't want to go ahead and dunk. They're like, well, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. I want to go on a beach somewhere. I don't want to go and participate in the NBA All-Star weekend. All right, man, to each his own, but NBA, you got to do better, because the product you're putting out there right now is getting a little stale. It's the dirty diaper right now at the H-E-B parking lot in the summertime. It stinks. Do better. Put out a better product. And again, the reason that the ratings are falling right now is because the NBA has gotten boring, and they make the games too hard for the fans to actually watch. So if they could take care of one of those things, I'm sure that the ratings would increase. But until they do that, it's still going to be more of the same. You know?
Yeah, Nick Wright from FS1 and Nick Wright from SF1 is the first person I saw mention this. And then Sean Elliott referred to it during a game. So maybe this could pick up some steam. I wouldn't mind it. I think that, a good dunk, and the NBA would have to define what a dunk is, but they say it would change the game if a dunk was worth 3 points. So I think that would be fun, and dunks changed. Like Sean Elliott was saying that like a good dunk can change the game. It demoralizes the other team. It shifts momentum, all this stuff. It should be worth more than 2 points. And I kind of agree with that. I could get on board with dunks being worth 3 points. It would it would incentivize stars. You see John Morant saying in interviews that he doesn't want to dunk because he goes in the air for these dunks and he gets hard fouled and it's just not worth it. But if a dunk is worth 3 points, if it's the way to win the game, like I think that brings some excitement back to the game. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Jim?
I don't know. I think you're seeing some comments in here too. And look, somebody's right, kind of agreeing with me. He says Sam Salinas. No, he goes, recognizable names who actually contribute should be in the dunk contest. That's what I'm saying. Like we used to have that one show. I don't remember if you saw it or not. I think it was on TNT or something. And they had a lot of these no-name people, kind of like TikTokers, media influencers and whatnot. And they were doing like it was nothing but dunks, right? And you saw some pretty cool stuff out of these guys. They're getting creative, doing some things a little different, things that you hadn't seen before. I wouldn't mind that. Again, get some of these no-name players, some of these players that people hadn't even heard of, get them out there, or even the mascots. That'd be cool. Have a little mascot game going on out there, mascots versus mascots. I think that would be cool too to see, I mean, I see people getting up here as well, saying that they still like the celebrity game and whatnot. I guess, it's just not my thing. I've never really watched it. I watch highlights here and there, and to me, that's good enough. It's kind of boring when you're watching it in person. It's not my cup of tea. But one of the things we're going to go ahead and move on here and talk about is we're going to preview the Spurs versus Hawks when we come back. Talk a little bit about the San Antonio Spurs, and let's see if Mateo here has some pushback for Michael when it comes to one Jeremy Sohan. After all, they went ahead and made that beautiful meme of you. I'm still here, Sohan. So we'll talk
Can I
about.
tell you something, Joe? I
Yeah,
don't
go
get
ahead.
that meme. I don't know what it's from.
You know where it's from? It's from the Three Amigos because they have this guy right on the Three Amigos. So he's like part of the gang, right? So they have these bandidos, right? And the bad guys. And there's the leader of the group is called El Guapo, right? And throughout the movie, you see, some of his henchmen get killed off and whatnot. And the one that's always been there for El Guapo since the beginning, everybody's leaving. And he's like, I'm still here, El Guapo. And what does he do? He pulls his gun out and shoots the dude. That's your biggest supporter, and you off the guy. So it's like you're Sohan's biggest supporter. So that's what the meme means. I'm still here, Sohan. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. So that's what it means. But we're gonna go ahead and give some love to MCS General Contracting. And again, like I said, when we get back, we're gonna go ahead and preview the San Antonio Spurs versus the Hawks tomorrow. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. tip. We'll be back. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. And there you go. If you want to get some of that diamond hard concrete in your life, make sure you go ahead and call Chris Leha of MCS General Contracting. His number is 210-774-9155. And if you need anything as far as a pickleball court, basketball court, parking lot, maybe you need an ADA compliant ramp for your business, make sure you go ahead and call MCS General Contracting. If you want it done right the first time, their number is 210-774-9155, and let them know that you heard it here first on the Alamo City Sportscast. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. So we're going to have a preview of the San Antonio Spurs versus the Atlanta Hawks here. So one of the things that I'm going to show is a head-to-head that they have all time, so we can go ahead and see what this looks like. What does this matchup look like in real time here? So this is the meeting that the Spurs and Hawks have had. In the regular season, they've played each other a total of 103 times. The San Antonio Spurs have won 58 of those meetings compared to the Atlanta Hawks winning 45 of those meetings when it comes to them going head-to-head. And you can see the record here going back to the 2023-2024 season. Hawks and Spurs met up first on November the 30th of 2023. And, of course, the Hawks won that game. Then again on January 15th, 2024, Spurs and Hawks met up again. Hawks won that game by a final score of 109-99. The first meeting, the final score was 137 to 135. Hawks won a nail biter by 2 points. What say you, Mateo? Do you think the Spurs have enough to go ahead and best the Hawks here?
Well, it'll be interesting. The Hawks have been winning a lot, uh, but I guess you could argue that the Spurs have too. So we'll see what happens. The Hawks are a good team. You know, they have Trae Young, NBA superstar, leading the team. We have Wimby, NBA superstar, leading our team. We'll just see who gets the better of who. You know, in the last Spurs game, it was kind of cool to see Wimby guarding Ant. So I'm wondering if we'll see some, Wimby guarding Trae Young, and especially, well, that last game was atrocious for a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. But I want to see, Sochan. I want to see Steph Castle step it up on defense. Because they have a really good defensive team now. They revamped that team. I don't know if you know, but like the people in charge of the Hawks are like Spurs people now. So
Yeah.
they're not trying to. I don't know. They're not this. It's not the same team it was a season ago or 2 seasons ago. So they revamped their team. They have a new little core with Trae Young and Zachary Richichet and Dyson Daniels and I don't know who the other guy is, but they have a new little core around them that they're trying to build up, and we'll see. It'll be a fun game. I expect the Spurs to get a win because I think the Spurs should go into every game thinking they could get a win, but we'll see how it all plays out.
We'll see how it plays out at the end of the day, but we haven't seen the injury report yet. I think they might be releasing that probably later on today, or they might have already released it, just haven't seen it yet. But Spurs tip off against the Hawks tomorrow at 7 p.m. If the Spurs have a pretty healthy squad, everybody's playing. Yeah, I think I can go ahead and give the Hawks a good run here. The one thing that I think the Spurs have over the Hawks is going to be size inside the paint. I think the Spurs, when healthy, and everybody's playing, uh, they can go ahead and best the Hawks inside the paint. I think they're just going to be able to outmuscle the Hawks. The thing is that the Hawks can probably shoot the ball better than the Spurs, so if the Spurs can't get out and guard the perimeter, I think it's going to be an early night for the Spurs, especially if some of these players wind up getting hot and just can't miss. Spurs can't fall behind early. They got to come out. They got to be able to match the intensity. And again, if you fall behind 20 points, 17 points, while they show that they can win against some teams, they also show that they struggle at times too when it comes to shooting. So if they get hot and they go on a streak, that's great, but can it be sustainable? That's my biggest concern for them. And that's why, again, you don't want to fall behind early. You got to come out and match that team's energy. You don't want to fall behind by double digits in the first quarter. It makes it harder for you to try to come back from being down 10, 17, or 20 points in the context of trying to make runs in the third quarter, fourth quarter, again, when you're trying to expunge some energy. It's one of those things. Yes, they can do it, but it shouldn't be something that they have to keep on doing, because if you use that all that energy to try to come back against a bad team, and you win by 3 or 4 points, and then you play a better team the next night, how tired are you going to be for that better team? Because you're going to have to play more consistent basketball for a full 48 minutes, and they're probably not going to squander a 20 or 17 point lead. So that's what the Spurs are up against, and that's why you see the record the way it is right now. While they've lost some close games this season, they just, again, it all comes down to consistent play. And that's one of the biggest question marks I have about this team right now. Can they do these things consistently? I believe that they have a good chance of beating the Hawks. I'd like to say that they do get the win against the Hawks tomorrow. I would like to believe that as a Spurs fan. But you have the faction of fan like Michael Jimenez that attribute the Spurs are losing right now because of one Jeremy Sohan. What say you, Matt?
Well, I don't think so. So like we were talking about how the Spurs slow starts have like been like when the Spurs lose, it's because usually they have a slow start. Well, the Spurs don't really have these slow starts when Sohan plays in the starting lineup. Like the game against the Trailblazers, it was like 33-33 at the end of the first quarter. The Timberwolves was a little bit of a different story, but nobody was really contributing except for Wemby and Sohan for most of the game, and Harrison Barnes came across along in the second half and scored some points. But I mean, for the most part, it was a Wemby Sohan combo, and I love Jeremy Sohan, but there's no situation where he should be the second highest scorer on the team. You know what I mean? So, we can't have that. We need Wemby to score. We need Devin Vassell to score. He only gave us 4 points in that last game. Steph Castle only gave us 2 points in that last game. So I just don't see how you could see someone when the team is not performing well go out and give you 17 points and 15 rebounds and then say, "Oh yeah, he's the reason. He's the reason we're not winning." Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So like I'm not saying that somebody's untouchable. I'm not saying that this person is going to be here forever. I'm just saying that if you're going to say that this is the reason we're losing, at least make it make sense. You can't tell me that the guy who scored points and got all the rebounds is the reason we lost when, the highest paid player on the team scored 4 points.
One
you
of
know?
the things that's happening too is it seems to me that at times the Spurs look like they played better just from the eye test with one Stephon Castle, right, in the lineup there, the starting five. Now that they kind of put Sohan back, Castle's been delegated to coming off the bench here. I think that could be another deciding factor as well. Stephon Castle, at the end of the day, to me, is just a better offensive player than one Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan will go ahead and give you more defensively, and he can go ahead and contribute well from the offense. And I said, Jeremy Sohan, if you can get 8 points out of him a game and you get like 12 rebounds, 13 rebounds, that's great. He's out there to be a defensive presence. He shouldn't be the focal point of the offense. If he gets his, great. But, when you're having him score 14 points or, 16, 20 points a game, then that means that somebody else on the team isn't doing their job. It means that they're not having a good shooting night. And that's where our gripe, our argument comes in with having Jeremy Sohan in the starting five. I just think at the end of the day, to me, it makes more sense to go ahead and start Stephon Castle only because I believe that he's a better overall player than Sohan. That's just my thoughts, Matt.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I think they should both be in the starting lineup. I think
I
that
do that.
if you had to choose someone to go to the bench from our starting lineup to put Castle back in, I would send Champagny to the bench. Like I don't think he was ever meant to be a long term starter. He's only a starter right now because Devin Vassell's going through his recovery from his surgery. He's on the minute restriction and all that stuff. Once Devin Vassell's back, he'd be in the on the coming off the bench anyways. So if you really want to get uh, Steph Castle some play out there, why not let him come and take Julian's spot? And Julian, I think he would have really good games coming off the bench because that's where he's gonna be anyways. So I understand that Julian's getting buckets, Tavares, but it's just like one of those things, man. Like if you're gonna if you're going to like go as so far as to say that the team is doing bad because of a certain player starting, but also the team isn't doing slow starts when this certain player is starting, then it's just like, well, something has to give. Like if you think that Castle is so important that he has to start, put him in the starting lineup. But if you're also going to complain that we're having these slow starts and we only have slow starts when Sohan is coming off the bench or is missing games, then like you have to pick your poison, right? So either they can both be in the starting lineup or you have to choose which one. What's more important? Is it more important to you to have a good start with good defense? Or is it more important for you to have Stefan Castle in the starting lineup and have to come back from a deficit? You just have to choose your poison at that point, or put them both in and sit Julian Champagny. So it's like one of those things there. What's your poison?
Yeah, and my poison is right now, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I know you probably have some pushback on me, and I don't really give a damn, but it's my opinion. My thing is, you see this team and you see the disparity of talent between the San Antonio Spurs and some of the other better teams. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you change the lineup, it doesn't matter what you do with the second unit. The team's still 35 to 38 win team, in my opinion. And it's because of the talent pool that's out there. Doesn't matter what you do. You just don't have the talent to compete against these better teams. You have Wemby, you have Castle, you have Vassell, and a bunch of guys still at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with these guys. They're good role players. But again, you got to be honest with yourself. Look at the team that you have currently constructed. And this ain't it, in my opinion. They still need to have another star paired with Wemby in order to really be a viable threat, to be able to want to compete, to be able to say, hey, you know what? We can count on this team being in the in season or being in the play-in tournament or even making the playoffs. Right now, they're just going to be flirting on the outside, kind of looking in. They're going to be right around 12, maybe 11, kind of on the outskirts. But I don't know if they're going to be able to make that push to be a viable contender to make the in season or play-in tourney, should I say, because the talent's just not there, in my opinion, Matt. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree. I think that we have to make trades, right? Um, and the funny thing is that the Spurs are one of the few teams that have cap space to take on a huge contract like one a superstar would command, right? So, like right now, the Pelicans desperately need to get rid of Brandon Ingram's contract so they don't have to pay the luxury tax, right?
Yeah.
Well, the reason the Spurs are being mentioned as a place for him to go is because we're one of the only teams that could take his contract, and that's just it. We have cap space; other people don't. That's why I don't think that Chris Paul's going to get traded because these teams that could take him, we would have to buy out his contract so that he could sign a vet minimum for any team that would be worth going to, unless he like goes to the the Pacers or something. I don't think,
Yeah.
you know. So like, I don't know. The Spurs are in a really good spot to take somebody. The new CBA is going to make a lot of people untradeable. So we might have the opportunity to pick someone up, like a Brandon Ingram, like a Jimmy Butler, or something like that, without having to give up too much, because nobody else will take them. Like, yeah, you could say, well, we want 30 picks, or we want this list of players for this one player, but the Spurs could be like, all right, well, good luck, find another deal. you know, not
Well,
very many teams can make these deals.
Spurs were rumored to be one of the teams that were going to be suitors for Markkanen, right? Laurie Markkanen. Didn't happen
Yeah,
because Ainge wants to fleece any team that wants to go ahead and make a viable trade, right? Okay, we get that.
yeah.
Ingram, he'd be all right, next to Wemby. But again, I think at the end of the day, what the Spurs are really lacking is a dynamic player that can go out there and have their own shot creation, be able to go ahead and make big shots in big moments. They need a bucket getter. Beyond, Stephon Castle looking like he's going to pan out, his ceiling is going to be very high. The Spurs just don't have that second offensive threat, I think, in my opinion. They have, players that'll step up from time to time on any given night and go off along with Wemby, but it's just not consistent. I think that's what they're lacking, that consistent offensive threat. And they need somebody, and it might not be a big, it could be, another, a power forward or something that can go ahead and score, be a good two-way threat out there on the court. I think that's really what they're needing at the end of the day. They need somebody else that can help take that scoring load off of Wemby and become that second focal point. Because if that was the case, then they would go ahead and give other players on the team, some of that time to thrive. And that's the thing that you see in some of these other teams that have at least two legit stars out there. If you focus on one star player, the other one will go off, and then the team has to go ahead and start spacing the floor. They'll go ahead and space the floor when you have your star players kind of moving on the different opposite ends of the court there, and they're getting in different positions. And you see that that opens the game up for their teammates, to knock down some open threes, to have some easy buckets, backdoor cuts, things of that nature. And I think right now with the Spurs and what we see a lot of is the spacing just isn't quite there because teams don't respect them because they know they're not very good when it comes to shooting the ball. Oh, we just got to focus on Wemby. Oh, we can just go ahead and focus on Castle. Let's go ahead and focus on. You see Jeremy Sohan out there on the wing. You think they're going to come out there and guard him? They're going to be like, nah, we dare you. Show me you can make that three. Show me you can knock down that 15, 20-foot jumper. They're not going to go out there and guard him. They're going to let him have that shot all day. They're going to go ahead and focus on the head of the snake. And that's it with the Spurs. It's not hard to scheme against them. The problem with them is that they just can't knock down consistent buckets. That's why I'm like, if they're going to get another star player to, pair along Wemby, it needs to be somebody who can go ahead and knock down those shots consistently. I don't know who that player would be right now, but I'm saying I think that would be a great addition to this team. That's just my opinion. Matt, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think we need to go out there and get somebody. Like I've been saying for a long time, we need to start thinking about who's available. De'Aaron Fox hasn't signed his extension with the Kings. I know that we all think of Castle as our point guard of the future, but I mean, if we could get De'Aaron Fox for a while, that'd be great. I think he'd do exactly what you're saying, Joe. He'd be able to create his own shot. He'd be someone who would take the attention off of Wemby. Like there's so much. There's so many times where you see Wemby with the ball in his hands, and yeah, the defensive players are with their man, but they're looking at Wemby. They're trying to see what he's going to do. They don't care if Blake Wesley or Jeremy Sohan is cutting to the basket. They're trying to see what the hell Wemby's going to do.
Yeah.
So like if they could get another player like a De'Aaron Fox, or even if Devin Vassell could just become a consistent person to where like when he has the ball, you have to pay attention to him. Just that would help a lot. And I know that Chris Paul helps a lot because he's navigating and telling people where to go and all that stuff. But Chris Paul can go a few games without scoring points. I don't think he scored in the last game. So it's just like he's not really a threat like he used to be. He's more try to find someone who can shoot the ball and not a shooting threat. So if we could find someone who can kind of do what Chris Paul does and also be a scoring threat, like again a De'Aaron Fox, then I think we'd be cooking with grease.
Yeah. And look at it like Sam Salinas' comment here. He says, "Is Lerma saying wimpy? So you saying the Spurs are playing with wimpy ganas?"
Hey, I say it with love. I say it with love.
And that's funny that's a phrase that was coined here on the show, right? And it's kind of made its way from time to time to Spurs Twitter. You see it pop up here and there. And I think it's funny, it's like wimpy ganas, and sometimes they'll be like, "What is that?" And they'll be like, "Oh, got to watch the Alamo City Sportscast." And look at this. Jason Garcia saying, "Mountain Cedar that bad, Matt." And Mario Cavazos was talking about your dry cough. He's like, "You need to go get that checked out, bro." It's like I think Mateo is succumbing to the mountain cedar.
Hey, I'm coming back from an illness, man. If you would have asked me to do the show last Friday, I would have said no.
I know. You couldn't even do the spaces at one time because you were just not feeling good. You were saying, "I'm sick."
Yeah.
Matt Lerma. That's how you should announce yourself for the Spurs Twitter Spaces. I'm Matt Flemma coming to your life.
Matt Lerma will be back Monday.
Yeah. Matt Flemma is what we get right now. Look at this. Mexican Junior says, "Chris Paul reminds me of when we had Mo Cheeks during Robinson's rookie year. He's a good leader, but doesn't have the scoring punch or defense of his prime."
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, you know what I was gonna
Love
say too?
CP3, but he's not the same.
I don't know if Matt
Go
Goff
ahead.
is still in the room, but Matt, if you're in the room, go ahead and check your X DMs, bro. I wanted to bring you on right now if you're still in the room. That way we can go ahead and talk about what's going on here with the supporters group with SAFC because Spurs Sports and Entertainment is dropping the bag big time, man. I got wind yesterday. They were saying that one of the biggest supporters groups here, which is going to be the Crocketeers, been going on for quite some time since the Scorpion days. They're calling it quits, man. They're going to go ahead and go on a hiatus here. And it's because a lot of the things that are going on right now with SAFC and the way that they're treating the supporters groups. They already started charging the supporters groups going back to last season for parking. That didn't used to be something they did before. It seems like this year, from what I'm understanding, they're going to want to start charging the supporters groups to be out there in that area of the parking lot now if they're going to be having tailgates and they want to implement some other rule changes there as well. I'm like, at the end of the day, soccer goes hand in hand with your supporters groups. You need the supporters groups out there because it's a tradition. It makes the games more exciting to have these supporters out there beating the drums, singing, chanting, getting crazy with the scarves, and kind of distracting the opposing team. And it's part of the game. It's part of the tradition. I don't know really what's going on right now and why San Antonio FC is doing what they're doing. I know it's heavily driven behind decisions coming down from Spurs Sports and Entertainment. But at the end of the day, if things keep on rolling this way, I don't know if SAFC is going to be here beyond another season. So if you haven't gone to see an SAFC soccer game, you might want to go this
Very
next.
good.
This could be it, man. I think the end is nigh, and I think the Spurs are starting to go ahead and kind of trim some of the fat here, and they're like, we don't really care about soccer anymore. Because there's by them kind of pushing out, it seems like, in my opinion, trying to push out the supporters groups, they're making a big, let's say, sign here of what's to come.
Yeah.
So it's like, do
And
you care?
they're 2 seasons away from a championship too, right? Like,
They were.
that it's just ridiculous to me, man. Like, SAFC was a great product. They couldn't keep the players. They just brought in a new coach. It's like, come on, like, get it together. What are you doing?
Yeah, and
And now they're doing this to the supporters. Like, come on.
you need the supporters groups. The supporters groups do so much for the community beyond just go out there and chant for SAFC. They do a lot of community work, a lot of community involvement. It's a way of the community coming together too for these games because when you go out there to an SAFC tailgate, you see all these supporters out there, you're going to meet a lot of great people. You go out there and you do the rounds and you just start talking to people. If you don't know anything about soccer and you just want to be there for the free drink and booze, slowly you start being converted into a fan because you ask questions. Hey, how does this work? Or what's going on with the team? And people are so forthcoming and wanting to talk with you and empower you with knowledge, and you slowly but surely start getting assimilated into this community because that's really what it is at the end of the day. And again, man, I've met a lot of great people out there and I've gone to these tailgates for quite some time. I didn't make any of this last season because I got so busy, but I hope to at least make one or two this upcoming season because this might be it, man. You know, the Spurs went ahead and parted ways with the Rampage. They went ahead and let the Silver Stars go to Vegas, and again, the Rampage are now a Vegas team as well. Is SAFC destined for the same thing? Are they going to go ahead and wind up, just cutting them loose and they're going to go ahead and migrate over to Vegas? I mean, that could be a real possibility. As at the end of the day, it just shows Spurs Sports and Entertainment only cares about one thing. That's the San Antonio Spurs. It seems like they care more about that Project Marvel, going out there and getting that arena built downtown. And it's just a cash money scheme at this point. They just care about the team that's making them the most money.
Yeah, it's a shame because, SAFC was great. They won a championship not even 2 seasons ago. We have a star on our kits now because we won the
Yeah.
championship, and they just don't care. And they could build something really meaningful and, uh, important for the community. Like I know that's not MLS, and we don't have a pyramid system here and all that stuff. But I mean, you know, soccer here in the U.S. is picking up steam in popularity,
Yeah.
and people are looking for local, you know, local sporting events to go to all the time. I just think that it's a wasted opportunity if they let this get away from them over something dumb like parking money. Like, come
I mean, it's not
on,
just
you know?
that. It's a lot of the ways that they were treating the supporters groups as well as of late. It just things changed, man. Something's amiss here. I don't know if it's management, something going on over there. SAFC gets wind and they start watching this and they want to talk. What are we going to talk about? You know, at the end of the day, hey, let's go ahead and talk. We value your opinion. If you valued people's opinions, you would actually implement changes. At this point, you're going to be like, oh, we want to listen to what you all have to say, but a big F you at the end of the day. We're going to do what we want anyway. How is that listening to people? Get out of here, man. You're going to go ahead and let the team fold. Writing's on the wall already. It looks like this next season is going to be it for SAFC. If you haven't gone to go ahead and see a soccer game, you might want to go this next season, you know? I'm
Matt
here in
Gomez is
Waco.
here.
Matt Gomez, come in, chime in, dude. If you want the link, I'll send it to you now. I went ahead and got hold of you right now via the Twitter X DMs. Go and check them, man. If you want to go ahead and chime in, kind of clap back, I'll be happy to send you a link so you can join us right now. Appreciate you guys and what you all do out there for the SAFC as being part of the supporters groups, man. Oh, look at that. Supporters groups and season ticket members, Joe. We're all treated like crap last season. No doubt you all have been. And it's not just going back to that last season. I think this has already been something that's been happening slowly but surely. The writing's on the wall, man. So, yeah, Matt, if you're free and you want to join, let me know, dude. I'll go ahead and bring you on. But one of the things we're going to go ahead and talk about as well as we kind of transition here is we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some Spurs news and notes here. Jeff Garcia has released some things that we're gonna go ahead and share. And before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and give Jeff Garcia some love. You got to go ahead and listen to the Locked On Spurs podcast. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at JeffG10s5SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at JeffGSpursZone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right, so make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, and share to the Locked On Spurs podcast. And again, you can go ahead and subscribe to them on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Jeff Garcia is already at 5,000 subscribers strong. Wanted to go ahead and push him even further. So make sure you go ahead and give him a like and subscribe to his channel over on YouTube. Again, it's the Locked On Spurs podcast for your daily Spurs content. Jeff Garcia did release some information earlier today. I'm going to go ahead and share this and put it on screen for us. Let's see. There we go. He went ahead and shared this, and he says that Mamu is going to be helping deliver toys to the kids at the hospital and chatting with them for the holidays. So that's a thing. You got to go ahead and check that out. We'll go ahead and show a little bit of this out here on the Ken's 5 website. You want to go ahead and read the full article, make sure you go to the Ken's 5 website and check that out and see how Mamu is getting involved with the community here, set to brighten the Christmas for some children at the Christus Children's Hospital. So if you want to go ahead and read that, go ahead and check that out. This is Jeff's latest article. Again, it's on Ken's 5. So we'll go ahead and stop sharing that and talk a little bit about some NFL action, man. We had some news that came through here, kind of some news that broke, and Matt can't join us right now. He's a little busy. I understand, brother. We'll get you next time, though. We'll go ahead and definitely talk about what's going on with the supporters group. Look what he says. Yeah, I canceled my season tickets with SAFC this year because didn't like what I was seeing. Exactly, man. And there's Matt Gomez. He says he's actually going to be on a call with SAFC in a bit. He goes, but future show, he's 100% down. So we'll definitely get Matt to come out and talk about the SAC and give us a skinny on that. But we also had some breaking news here in the NFL. I'm going to go ahead and show this on screen as well. Seems like the Falcons are going to be making a change here at the quarterback position, man. They went ahead and they had Primo, Kirk Cousins, as their starting QB, but he's fallen off over the course of the last couple games. So now the Falcons are going to be benching Kirk Cousins and installing quarterback or rookie quarterback at that, Michael Penix Jr. So the Falcons are still in the mix here in the hunt for the playoffs. So they need some of these wins, man, and they need them in a bad way. So they're going to go ahead and make the call right now. We'll see if this pans out for them, man. I don't know if you watch the NFL that much, but Kirk Cousins started off the season pretty strong, but it just seems like he's fallen off the last maybe 4 or 5 games. They haven't been winning, man. So, I mean, what do you think about the move?
I'm happy for Michael Penix Jr. The NFL is a tough gig, man. You either work or you don't. And Kirk Cousins, he was paid a bunch of money. I forget the amount, but I remember when I heard that he signed with the Falcons, they had a huge deal. So just to hear that, just a few weeks later, I guess it's towards the end of the season, but now all of a sudden he's out. It's just like something happened, and I'll be honest, I don't watch that much Atlanta Hawks or whatever
Falcons?
Falcons football. I don't watch a lot of Atlanta Falcons football, but just to know that Kirk Cousins, who's a really good quarterback, came in there and shit the bed. You know, it's good to see that they got rid of him. It's not like the Cowboys where they're like, well, in Dak we trust, or none of that shit. They're just like, you suck, get out of here. We're done with you. And if they can get out of his contract, then fine. But if not, whatever. It is what it is. At least they can try to finish the season strong.
Yeah, and look at this. We got Midtown Texas coming in hot, man. $4.99 super chat. He says, "Happy Hanukkah for me and Sam Salinas and JHNSB. Appreciate you boys, man. I really do. We appreciate you all supporting us and always being in the chat with us. We were grateful for it, man. We're going to go ahead and look at some information that I put up here on the screen. And Kirk Cousins got $62.5 million this season. And the team is on the hook for $27.5 million guaranteed next season. And they're saying that it is a tradable contract if the team believes in what Kirk Cousins has to offer. So if a team is needing a veteran quarterback, maybe they go ahead and take a shot here at one Kirk Cousins and try to absorb that 27.5 mil fully guaranteed contract if he can help out another team. One of the teams that could looking like they could use a quarterback is none other than the New Orleans Saints. But I know the Saints faithful will be like, not only no, but hell no, they don't want them no Kirk Cousins. So I know Michael will be against that, no doubt. But just going ahead and showing that, yeah, it's a disparity of what happens in the NFL. If you're not winning, you're gonna get benched. Kirk Cousins right now is just not living up to par. And I think there might be something to said about maybe him having an injury, something going on, but they're just not wanting to disclose it right now. That could also be something that the team is having to deal with behind the scenes. So whatever happens here, wish Kirk Cousins the best, the primo. Hope he can go ahead and find some life out there, maybe with another team next season. Because I think his days as being the Falcons QB, they're pretty much over, man. Look at Eliza. Oh, Maddie, stop disrespecting my cowboy dog.
They do it to themselves. So they do it to themselves.
Look, he says, lucky I can't call in and cook because I know that Elias is busy working right now. Kirk Cousins. Oh. So for a minute there, I thought Lerma finally came to the sense and was talking about Sochan having to go. I was wrong. I'm still here, Sochan. We got to go ahead and put up that meme one more time. It's the best meme that we've had so far. This is the meme of the year, Matt. I mean, it was just gold, and it was all done by one and only Bear County Social Apparel. But then, of course, Elias, he had to go ahead and put his spin on it, and it's really good, dude. It's very good. I'm still here, Sochan. that meme gets a lot of use on this show. And what did you say one time, Matt? You're like, I look beautiful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful rendition of me. Thank you, Bear County Social.
Not only Bear County, but it's also Sith. Sith is the one that changed it. Originally, Bear County had put "I'm still here, El Guapo," and then Sith changed it and he puts "I'm still here, Sohan." Does Matt own a
No, I don't
Sohan
own
jersey?
it. I don't. Mm-mm.
Y'all, you want to go ahead and get Matt a Sohan jersey? Maybe you go ahead and give him some super
Christmas is
chats or
coming up, you
something.
guys.
Yeah, get Matt some super chats, man. Now, but I'm gonna go ahead and show something here because I thought it was funny. I saw this earlier today, and this was put out by Elias. So apparently, during a basketball game, you know how they give out prizes during the basketball game, right? Look at what
Mhm.
happened with this. Somebody dropped the bag here, and this is by our one and only Sith Elias here on the X. Legion Hopes puts Madness. The Hornets recently gifted a kid a PS5 during halftime at one of their games. Then they took away the PS5 off camera and gave the kid a jersey instead. You know,
What?
today the Hornets issued an apology and will now be giving him a PS5 and VIP tickets to a future game. So how are you going to do the kid like that, man? You bring him out on court. You say that he's won a PS5. You immediately take it away from him and you give him a jersey. Come on, man. That's a Grinch
That's
right
funny.
there.
That's dirty work right there, man. That's like when Michael Jordan had to make sure that guy won his prize. Do you know that story where you know how they do like the $10,000 half court shot or whatever? Like
Yeah.
this guy won, and then they didn't want to pay him, and like I think it was either I forget if it was Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, but they had to make sure that the guy got paid. Like they had to like personally go and tell the team, "Hey, you need to pay him." Because like he had like reached out and was like, "Oh no, they never paid me," and he was like, "I'll take care of it," and he had to go to the office and be like, "Hey, you got to pay this guy." That's crazy.
That is crazy, man. Like, how in the hell do you do that to a kid? Like, I can see you doing that to an adult, oh man, sorry, bro. We gave you the wrong prize. All right, cool, whatever, You're a grown ass
Yeah,
man. It would still be pissed. But to this, man, this is like gut wrenching for a kid. I mean, like, if you can't afford a PS5, because let's face it, they're like $500, right? And
yeah.
you think you want something that you've always wanted. And then they just go and take it away and say, "Nah, kid, you're getting this jersey instead." And they don't even say who it was. Who's the jersey that they gave him? Was it Ball? Who was it? You know?
It doesn't matter. It's a Hornets jersey. Like,
Exactly, man. That too, dude. You wouldn't wash your car with that. That kid don't want no damn jersey. He wants a PS5. And then they got the Hornet out there, the mascot, all geared up in Santa. And he should have dressed him as a damn Grinch, man. Y'all got to do better than that, dude. That's embarrassing, man. Not a good look. I'm sure it's just all, what do you call it? Public relations now at this point, trying to scramble, you know?
yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing to be like, "Oh yeah, we couldn't afford this $500 gift." Like, come
Mm.
on, man.
That was the whole budget right there for the rest of the season. $500.
Yeah.
And look at this. Jason Garcia coming in with a 199 super chat. He says, "Give Matt a grito for the cough." We got to
Ay,
give
ay,
the
ay.
grito, man.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté.
There you go. There's the grito for the cough, man. Hopefully that helps. It's better than some Vicks, man.
I, I feel better already.
I look at that. Sam Selena says they gave him a grandmama jersey. Throwback. Oh, look at this. It was like semi-pro when the guy wins the game and Will Ferrell freaks out because he doesn't have the prize. And I think Sith was saying that it was the guy, dude hit a $1 million half court shot and they didn't have the funds
Yeah.
to pay him. That's what it was.
Well, What's funny is that when there's a huge cash prize like $1 million half-court shot, like if someone wins it, they have to pay it through an insurance payout. So
Really?
I don't know. It's just like one of those things. Yeah.
Oh,
And I got the VIX. I got the VIX, y'all
and
guys.
Vicks. You know what you need? You need that, and you need to get some Sprite, man. But you know what? I've been telling Mike this for quite some time. Nothing beats that Diet Dr. B, bro. That hits different, man. That's my drink of choice right now in the morning, dude. That's what I'm sipping on doing this show. Getting a little bit of that Diet
Man,
Dr. B. HEB, if you want to sponsor the show, I'll drink Diet Dr. B all day. I'm down. I'm down to represent, man.
They used to
No,
have those 2 for $1 at the HEB gas station. I don't
bro,
know what they are now.
HEB used to be HEB done people dirty, man. Remember back in the day, you could get a soda, the HEB branded sodas for a quarter, dude. Right? Then slowly they started encroaching, right? Going up 35 cents, 45 cents, 50 cents. Then it was 75 cents. I'm like, HEB, y'all play too much, man. I see exactly what you're doing. And now the damn HEB cola is just as much as a regular soda, dude. It's like maybe you're saving like a dime or something, but it's the same. But I tell you what, man, they did it right with the Diet Dr. B, bro. That shit hits different, man. Me and my niece love it. But
Diet Dr. B is legit, man. People sleep on the Diet Dr. B, but they're missing
I don't
out,
know,
man.
man. Oh man, look at that. Alex Noriega. Now that grito's going to be stuck in my head all day. There you go. And look at Elias says, Diet Dr. B and a bolsita. Saca la bolsita. That's what he's saying. Mike gone and
Hey,
Cooper went
I-
nuts.
I've sent Joe Grito alternatives, you guys. Just there could be multiple Gritos, but whatever. It's cool.
We're gonna have some other gritos, man. Because one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and get Chris Leja from MCS General Contracting out here. I'll go to his house or something. I'll give him a shot at tequila or two. And then I want him to do a Mexican grito, full on real Mexican grito. And that's what I want to play from now on the show, man. Oh, look at that. We got a $4.99 super chat coming in from Tex-Mex Frank. He goes, can we go live? He goes, live video of Mike on vacation after fireball shots. Q in the grito guy. And another $1.99 super chat. Matt needs to be on Mike's beauty podcast. He's probably getting a pedicure out there in Barbados somewhere, man. Oh, look at that. Tim Gonzalez. It sucks. I remember those 25-cent days. What I'm saying, man, HEB plays too much, man. And it says, yeah, the FaceTime Mike to see what is he doing. You over there sitting on a cabana, man. Legs stretched out, showing the fungal nail. You know, he's gonna be taking pictures of his feet or something. I'm like, no, dude, we're good. We don't need to see that.
Do you think he's on Demon Mike time? He's out
Ah,
there in a new country all by himself. You know
no,
what I mean?
man. He's with the chica right now. He got to be on his best
Oh,
behavior.
he took it?
He's out there in his best Lululemons right now, all inclusive resort. The Lululemons, man. I don't know if Lululemon
Disappointed, man.
do they make trunks? I don't know if they make like trunks or speedos. I told Mike, you're gonna wear the speedo, just don't wear it backwards, bro. Jeff Garcia says, "Oh no, Mike's gonna wear the speedo backwards." Hey, but let's go ahead and play this video too, because I saw this earlier today, and I know that Sith had put it out there. This is a conversation with the great Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson, right? And this conversation was being had about the GOAT, Tim Duncan, right? And Mark Jackson, you know, he's a bona fide Spurs hater. He always has something to say about it, man. You just can't let things be. So go and play the audio.
Is he the greatest ever?
No. Greatest what? Power forward?
He's definitely the greatest power forward.
He's not. You know that's not true. He's the greatest power forward ever. But we're not going to stretch it to him being in the GOAT conversation. And I say that with great respect for him.
5 rings, 3 MVPs, all defensive player for 10 plus years.
We know his resume.
Okay.
I can name you 10 other guys that you got to put in that conversation if you're going to go that far.
Who?
Wilt?
Not 5. Will has won 2 championships, right? No.
I didn't know we judge as champions.
Yes.
No, that's not how you judge.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, that's not how we judge. That's not how we
Wait,
judge.
you don't judge greatness?
Not on how many championships you won.
That's the stupidest
Reggie
ass
Saint
take
says
I've
it
ever
all.
heard. You're not going to judge greatness by how many championships you won. Come on, man. What kind of dumb stuff is that he's talking, man? Mark Jackson, how many championships have you won, brother?
I don't
You
know. It
know?
sounds like something a loser would say.
Yeah. How many championships did Charles Barkley win? You know? They always make fun of
You
him with
know,
that.
Reggie Miller didn't even win a championship, and he didn't even agree with him.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. He's like, hey, you got to judge based on championships and the pedigree. You know, look at his accolades. 3-time MVP, 5-time NBA champion. I'm like, come on, man. He's gonna go down as the greatest power forward in NBA history. He is. And Mark Jackson's still like, nah, there's 10 other guys that are better than him. Show me. Mark Jackson's he's smoking that good right now. He's a dumbass. Bonafide dumbass.
When people who are like statistically the best player ever, like Nikola Jokic, he's statistically the best player that's ever been on the court, right? When he says that I don't even come close to Tim Duncan, that means that Tim Duncan is in the GOAT conversation. I don't care what anybody else has to say about it, Statistically speaking, on the court, the best player to ever be on the court is Nikola Jokic, and he says that he can't even think of touching Tim Duncan. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, Tim Duncan's in that GOAT conversation right there with Michael Jordan and Kobe. I'm not even going to say LeBron because LeBron's taking a break or what. I don't know what the hell's going on with LeBron.
He's getting old, man. That's what's happening with LeBron. Father Time's catching up with the brother. You can't beat Father Time, man. He's undefeated.
Yeah, but he also accepted $50 million to play this season. So, like, come on, bro.
Somebody offered you $50 million to come out and play, and you're of a certain age. You gonna turn it down? Hell no.
Nah, I mean, but I also wouldn't be like, you know what, guys, I'm just gonna take a break. I'll be back. Maybe, I don't know.
LeBron, the body's not lying no more, bro. LeBron, he looking tired, dude. At the end of the day, he's gonna finish the season. Whatever happens. He's gonna be like, I'm tired. I'm tired. It's time for me to go, man. I can't see him coming back for one more season. I mean, why would you want to come back and just be a shell of yourself? If you know the decline is already happening and you could feel it, just call it quits, bro.
Yeah, a popular YouTuber, Jimmy High Roller, made a video about like how like LeBron's the first player to beat time or whatever, and like I swear, right after that video released is when the decline started happening with LeBron. I was like, dude, Jimmy High Roller cursed LeBron.
LeBron looking tired, bro. That's all I'm saying. And they're gonna pay you that money. That's not LeBron's fault. That's the Lakers' fault. They want to throw money at him. Go ahead. He ain't gonna turn it down. We're gonna go ahead and start ending the show here, but I'm gonna go ahead and show this before we do. And this right here is something that you're interested in, Mateo. There's going to be San Antonio Brahmas, man. Season's only 160 days away. Till spring, March the 28th, which is my birthday there. He says, join the Stampede, season tickets on sale. You excited about the Brahmas? Because I know Mike says he don't even want to go and watch one game.
I am. I think it's unfortunate we have well, it's not unfortunate that we have the Final Four, but we're not going to get that many home games this season because of the Final Four. And, we just won our division or whatever last season. We went to the championship game. I think it's a good chance to build. We keep talking about how we want an NFL team to come here, but you have to go out and support the team you have. The NFL is not going to come out here and be like, oh, you have an XFL team. What are their numbers like? Oh, we barely fill half the stadium. They're not going to come here for that. We gotta go out there and show support. People who think like Mike that it's not real football or it's boring, they're shooting themselves. I know that he's a Saints fan and he doesn't care if the San Antonio market gets an NFL team, but for those of us who want a San Antonio-based NFL team, like you have to go out there and support these guys. And last season, they played really well. And I know that it's kind of hard to have continuity in a summer league for football, but if they could build off of that, then I think it should be good football to go and watch. So.
Yeah, if San Antonio does want an NFL team at some point, right? And you would think that the city getting behind Project Marvel here, wanting to go ahead and build a sports and entertainment complex downtown is a starting point. And you see what they're doing with the Alamo Dome, and they want to go ahead and revitalize it, make it look a little better because it's still going to be ugly as hell. I don't care what they do. Like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig at the end of the day. You look at the Alamo Dome, still a shoebox at the end of the day. I don't give a damn what you do about it or what you put inside of it. It's still ugly. It's a cavernous shoebox. It's a shoebox. Ugly. They should just knock it down, build something else there. If you want an NFL team to come to San Antonio, think they're going to want to play in the Alamo Dome? Hell no. They're going to want a brand new stadium. They're going, where are you going to put us? They look at the Alamo Dome like, come on, man. It might be great for college football, and they can hold concerts in it. But at the end of the day, it's still ugly. People don't want to play in there. I can tell you that right now. NFL teams aren't going to want to play in there, Matt.
Well, the upgrades that they plan to do to it will change the appearance, so it won't look like a shoebox anymore. I don't know if you saw the artist rendering.
Oh, I did. It's
rendering.
It's a white shoebox. It's a clean shoebox, but it's still a shoebox. You got the ugly towers sticking out.
But if they don't want to tear it down and build up a new one, then we'll go with the renovations and we'll see what we could do. I hold out hope that one day San Antonio will have an NFL team, and then I could become an NFL fan again for real.
Look at this coming in with the hot takes. Spurs, sports, and entertainment will find a way to fold the Brahmas.
Hand over fist, I've seen the pic, and it came out that was AI generated. So don't believe the hype on that one, man.
Yeah, that's the thing now with AI stuff. It's getting quite good. Everybody's doing stuff with saying things about celebrities and whatnot, and you wind up finding out that the film, the photo, whatever it is, been doctored by AI. I mean, you can't believe everything you see out there, man. Unless you see it by a reputable outlet, it's probably just somebody making it up, man. And look, got Mario Cavazos coming in here with some chats here. The mission and SAISD agreed on building their new baseball field on top of Fox Tech, La Tecla. I know where Fox Tech's at, man. And they're going to go ahead and build it out there. Yeah, they're going to go and build it out there. I'm like, all right. But, at the end of the day, I know that SAISD, the deal that they were making is saying, we'll give you the property, but in return, we want so much money every single year. So they know what they got. The city's going to have to go ahead and make that deal with SAISD. And the thing is, what's the school district going to do with the money, though?
Who knows? Maybe they'll buy books or something.
That's like maybe they'll build new schools, maybe they'll go ahead and revitalize some of the aging schools, something. I mean, they got to do something with that money that benefits the kids in the community at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't use that money to pad, the line there of the pockets of the people who make six figures plus. Do they really need more money? Probably not. Give it to the kids. Help the kids, man, like Taylor says. Do it for the kids. But, Matt, we're going to go ahead and bring the show to an end here because I know you got to go. I got to go. I got to get ready for work. But before we do, where can they go ahead and follow you on the X?
Yeah, my username is on the screen, Matt Lerma _PS. I do post-game spaces after every Spurs game, so go ahead and follow me on the X, y'all. And thanks for having me, Joe.
Yeah, like always, man. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you stepping in for Mike while he's away on vacation in Barbados. But, yeah, you can go ahead and follow me, too. I'll be on the X. I'm at the Area 210 podcast, so you can go ahead and check that out. Go ahead and follow Matt here. And also join. He's going to be doing or hosting a Spurs space after the game. Usually it's around, 10 minutes or so after the game?
Yeah, by 10 minutes after the game for sure.
Yeah, sure. Make sure you join. You can talk. It's a free space too. Like it's everybody's welcome to come in and just voice your opinions. What you're thinking about the team. It's a safe space. No one will be in there coming at you crazy. Matt's a good moderator. In case it gets out of hand, he'll be like, hey, y'all play nice now. But for the most part, everybody's really talkative. They're open to what everybody else has to say about the team. So if you just want to go ahead and talk San Antonio Spurs basketball after a win or even after a loss, it gets interesting, Go ahead and join Matt in the Spurs spaces. And that is his Spurs spaces are actually sponsored by us over at the Alamo City Podcast Network. So make sure you go ahead and give Matt a follow, subscribe, and go ahead and listen to the Spurs space. It's good stuff, man. Look at they can finally put in central air conditioning at Jefferson High School. Oh my God, dude, y'all are bad. And look, Matt Lerma, all good fun, Matt. You demand all love. See, you get some love here too, Matt. Everybody loves him some Mateo. All right. So for Matt Lerma, I'm Joe Garcia. Thank you for watching another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast. We're out. We'll see you boys tomorrow. Peace.